Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Last night, Slayer played their first reunion show in 5 years since their retirement back in 2019, live from Riot Fest. So, a lot to talk about in the world of Slayer here. Let's dive in. So, how did we get here? The band shockingly announced their return to the stage after a 5-year retirement for Riot Fest and Aftershock Festival Louder Than Life as well. Here in 2024, confirmed earlier this year, and I did a video on the announcement when it first dropped, and I was really at a loss for words because it was so unexpected. It just kind of came out of nowhere, especially because this was right around the time when Kerry King was dropping singles for his upcoming solo debut, and also around the time where Kerry was doing interviews and had said that he really hadn't spoken to Tom Araya since the farewell tour had concluded, and so I did not expect this. Now fast forward to the big day itself, Slayer headlining Night 3 of Riot Fest 2024, and it's been a great bill this year, but obviously the band with the most hype and interest surrounding them had to be Slayer. How would they sound? What would be the set list? What would their performance look like? And is the Slayer comeback tour now, much greater of a possibility than it was, say, less than a year ago? The band reunited their most recent lineup, that of course being Kerry King, Tom Araya, Gary Holt, and Paul Bostaph, and I dig this lineup. Obviously Dave Lombardo and Jeff Hanneman are absolutely missed in the band. Hanneman, of course, passed away back in 2013, and by the looks of it, Dave Lombardo and Gary King don't seem to be on speaking terms anymore, which is unfortunate, but hearing them live on stage for the first time in 5 years, it was really like no time had passed at all. So let's take a look at the set list, which you guys can see right over here. The band did 20 songs in total, kicking things off with South of Heaven, track number 2, Reborn, live for the first time since 2014. Number 3, Blood Red. Number 4, Postmortem. Then you have Repentless, Payback, Temptation, Jihad, Seasons in the Abyss, Born of Fire, War Ensemble, Hate Worldwide, Disciple, Dead Skin Mask, Hell Awaits, 213 for the first time since 1998. I'm very excited about that one. Mandatory Suicide, Raining Blood, Black Magic, and Angel of Death to close things out. Overall, this is a really solid set list here, but not unsimilar to their set list from the Farewell Tour 5 years ago, but I really enjoyed the additions of Blood Red live for the first time since 2014, and of course, especially, I would say 213 from the Divine Intervention record. Great deep cut, really underrated album, and 213, one of my favorite Slayer deep cuts, so I was really surprised to see that one in the set list. Complete shocker, live for the first time in over 25 years, so I thought that was really cool. I think South of Heaven is a great live opener, with that really distinctive opening, those few chords. That's fantastic. I really loved that. And, otherwise, I saw some people who were complaining about 6 songs being done live from the Seasons in the Abyss record, which I understand, 6 songs is, weighting an album pretty heavily in the set list, but at the same time, it's Seasons in the Abyss. It's a pretty perfect album as far as I'm concerned, and so no complaints there from me. They went a little deeper than just the greatest hit set, which I thought was cool. If I had to make a fantasy set list, it would probably look a little bit differently. I probably would have included At Dawn They Sleep, and just some more representation from those first 2 albums in general, but other than that, that's a small nitpick, but other than that, this is a really strong set, and hey, we got 213 in the set list, so that was a total shock, and I'm really happy about that. I obviously was not there. I didn't fly out to Chicago, but thankfully footage from the show was up online in no time. Also, Paul Bostaph was live on Instagram for some of the set, which was cool. And, we know that Kerry King and Paul Bostaph have both been keeping busy on the road doing Kerry King's solo thing, and Gary Holt has been touring with Exodus, but Tom Araya has been pretty persona non grata, Exodus reference, since the retirement tour. His, desire to retire was really what, led the band to call it quits. And so I was most interested in, how he would sound up there. And again, it was like no time had passed between 2019, their last show, and here at Riot Fest. His vocals were still really powerful, and the rest of the band was super tight. And one thing about the Slayer retirement was that they went out on top. They went out while they were still Slayer. They still were able to give a great show worthy of the Slayer name, whereas so many bands hang on too long and their performances, can't live up to the classic material, but that was never the case with Slayer. But after hearing this performance, there's no doubt they're still great live, and they have a couple more live shows coming up, some one-offs, right, with Louder Than Life and Aftershock, but then they're done again, right, presumably. But if they were interested in doing a reunion tour, maybe doing more one-off shows in the future, if they were interested in that, based on this performance, they absolutely could, And, what is the likelihood of that? Probably not great. Kerry King seems pretty wrapped up in his solo stuff, and Tom Araya, by all accounts, just wants to step out of the spotlight. He also has some back problems, but money talks, no doubt about it, and they were certainly paid probably a huge bag for this show to come out of retirement, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me if we got more Slayer shows in the future. And again, after this show tonight, how they sounded, fantastic stuff. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. Regardless of what the future holds, this was a triumphant return for the mighty Slayer, live from Riot Fest 2024. Just wanted to share my thoughts on their performance, also, the set list, and the possibility of more Slayer shows in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new upload, and let me know down in the comment section below what were your thoughts on Slayer's first show in 5 years, and would you be interested in Slayer doing more shows in the future? I want to hear from you. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody.